everyone, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and this is another tarot spread video. This video we are going to be discussing yes and no responses and the spread that I use to answer yes and no questions. Okay, so yes and no questions. This is exactly, I use my reverse pyramid spread. So basically what I do is when someone asks a yes or no question, for example, let's say someone is asking, could you tell me if I'm pregnant? Say that my client hasn't taken a pregnancy test yet. They come to me. Obviously, I tell them they need to take a pregnancy test, but let's take a look. Yes or no, am I pregnant? So I flip over 3 cards first. Now, when I flip over the 3 cards, the way I read it is upright, looking at me, is a yes card, and reversed are no. Now, generally, a complete yes would be all 3 cards face up. So in this instance, if these cards looked like this would be yes, definitely. 3 cards indicate that you are definitely pregnant at this time. If I have 1 card that's reversed and 2 cards that are up, then we're talking about probability. The probability is that yes, you are, but there is something that is indicating that you may not be. And in this case, I look at, or I would pull more cards to give us a better indication as to what's going on. Why might I not be pregnant? So I'll get into that in a minute. 2 cards reversed with 1 card upright. Chances are you're probably not pregnant, but there could be an indicator. There's a yes indicating that you might be pregnant, but more likely than not, you're not pregnant. And then obviously, if the 3 cards are reversed, you're definitely not pregnant. So let's look at a situation where when I first laid out the cards, this is how they came up. So then what I do at this point is I pull 3 more cards to make the reversed pyramid. So I'm going to push these cards up so we can get the 3rd card in. Now when I do this, when I look at this and I pull the last, let me pull this back so we can get them all in the camera. Okay, so then I would do this and get clarity as to why you may be pregnant, but more likely you're not. And then I read the cards from here. And what I'm looking at when I do readings, tarot readings, I look at the relationship between, this is the clarifying card for these 2. And we get a little triangle here. This card is the clarifying card for these 2, and we get a little triangle here. Then I look at the relationship between these 2 cards with each other. And then I look at the relationship between this card with these 2 cards. You have a triangle here. I also look at the image between this and the relationship between this and this card because they're like parallel. Look at the relationship between these 2 because it's parallel. Then I look at the line that's created here and the line that is created here. So I'm looking at the relationship between the cards that touch each other or are parallel to each other. So for example, let's do this reading. Let's say that this client asked me, am I pregnant? This is I got this more likely not than yes, but there is a chance that you might be pregnant. So then how would I read this? Well, when I see the 3 of Pentacles here, this talks to me about a sort of a completion of a cycle. So then I would ask my clients, when was your last menstrual cycle? what day did you ovulate? Do you know what day you ovulated? Do you know when you had your last period? Do you know when you're due to have your next period? And this tells me that the chances are you could be pregnant because of your cycle. The egg, maybe you had sex during your fertile time, so there is a chance that you could be pregnant. So then I would look to the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about going into things with faith. So if she wants to be pregnant, then I'd say, well, you have some faith, have, the power of the mind over the situation. If you had sex during your fertile time, obviously you had faith that this would turn out, or have faith in the way that it would turn out the way that you want to. Everything has a time, everything has a season, talking about the changing of the wheel of the year, and sort of, applying this to the situation. So I would basically, ask her these questions, do you want to be pregnant? Is there, are you trying to be pregnant? What is your life like at this time? Are you prepared? Have you been preparing your life to bring in new life into it? Or are you so preoccupied with your career and work? Maybe the relationship isn't going very well. Looking at how this cycle, your cycle of your life, your cycle of your personal life and your relationship, and sort of examining that a little more, because there is definitely a correlation there. And then we look at the Knight of Athames in this triangle here, and he's coming into the situation. He's coming into the completion. And the Knight of Athames represents an individual. So but someone with their own issues, coming into your life with anger, coming into your life with tension, coming into your life with anxiety, someone who is spontaneous and impulsive in not a very healthy way, someone who is not committed. So, when you had sex that time during your cycle, the person you had sex with, this person, is it an ex that came back into your life? Was this a sort of a one-night stand kind of thing? Is it someone you had a relationship with who left and came back, and then you guys just, had a great night of drinking, met at a party, and then tumbled into bed and had sex? That's what it feels like here in this scenario, that you're not really ready and welcoming this pregnancy, if a baby, because this relationship was sort of a spontaneous hookup. It wasn't someone you want to get back together with. It's someone who maybe isn't even good for you, but things happen and you make rash decisions, or you were drunk and you didn't really think this through and you had sex with him. That's sort of what this scenario feels like. So then I hop down to finish the line here, and I look at the Six of Pentacles, and this tells me that, being in a generous, being generous, giving of yourself, giving your energy, giving your time, giving financial support to something, a situation, a cause, or someone. So this tells me that in this place, in this time in your life, you are, maybe you're living on your own, you have a good job, you feel pretty stable and secure, and you're open to sharing your life with someone. You're ready to focus on something else. You're ready to give of yourself to someone, which talks about being ready, perhaps, to be pregnant, to have a child. You're at a time in your life where you're ready for this. You feel as if this time in your life, you are ready to embrace a child, to have a child, to be pregnant. You're ready. Your biological clock is ready. And you had sex at a time where you could have been pregnant. You could get pregnant. So these cards suggest, yes, you are. You're ready. Your energy is ready. You open that vortex to allow a new life in. So perhaps you are pregnant. But this individual may not be the most positive person to have a baby with. And this card suggests no. This card suggests no. The Wild Hunt. In the Rider-Waite, this is the Tower card. This is talking about hunting down the prey and shifting up the hunt. and finding the prey, killing the prey, and changing this shift. This is a shift. This is this forceful, aggressive energy coming in, shaking things up, changing things, transmuting things. And this is suggesting, no, you are not pregnant, because it would energetically and practically change your life. That you, even though you may be energetically in a place of welcoming and generosity and bringing things into your life, this type of change, this type of transformation, your life, the universe, you are not aligned with that. And if you were to be aligned with that, you're not prepared for that. So for some people, it may be a very positive thing that they welcome this big transformative, life-changing event, but for you, it's a no. You are not ready for that. Specifically, not ready for that with this individual. So then the card here is the Nine of Chalices, and it's reversed. So this talks about having empty cups, having things I would suggest that this would mean that the individual is not ready emotionally, spiritually, energetically for such a change, that your cups are pretty well drained. You're empty right now. You cannot give of your own life force to a pregnancy right now. Perhaps we're talking about in an emotional, spiritual, energetic level, but when I see this, I would even suggest that you go for a checkup, a physical checkup, to make sure you personally are okay. I almost feel like we're talking about, when I see this card and I see this configuration of cards, I almost feel like we're talking about some sort of anemia, that your cups are draining, your womb has drained. I almost feel like we're talking about there's some sort of physical manifestation of an emotional and an energetic issue or challenge here, and that this client that I'm reading for, I would encourage them to go have a physical or go to their gynecologist to get some sort of checkup, because I feel like we're talking about things not going well, not going as well as they'd like in that, area, feminine issues. In a physical sense. So these three cards are definitely no cards. So when we follow this line down here, it brings us to generosity. It almost here talks about being too generous with the people in your life, giving of yourself and not focusing enough on you and what you need, which brings us to that place where you are drained and you're not ready and able to have such a traumatic, life-changing event because you are not energetically prepared. You don't have enough in your reserves to give. So that's what we see for this line, and we talked about this line. So then I look at this triangle, like I said here, and again, I really feel like we're talking about generosity and giving of herself, really feeling as if you're ready to do that, feeling as if it's time for you to have a baby or focus on a family, but also feeling very drained energetically because you've been giving to so many people, treating everybody as part of your family, especially when we look at this being allowing exes back into our life and tumbling into bed with them when we know necessarily this person wasn't the best choice, or having a baby with this person wouldn't be the best option for us. So that's how I look at a yes, no, and that's how I generally do it. So, all cards upright would be yes, all cards reversed would be no, and this is how I generally read the cards when they are a combination of two reversed, one upright, or two upright and one reversed. If I get a definite yes or a definite no, I just read the three cards to give them more information about the yes or the no, and there's no need to pull the extra cards in that case. So that's how I would do a yes or no spread. Thank you for the questions. If you have any other suggestions on doing any other tarot spreads, please let me know. And until next time, I love you.